right, welcome back to the program. In case you're just joining us, it's time to take our first guest. Paul Alaje, the senior economist at SPM Professionals, is joining me right here at the table. Paul, welcome to the program.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Let's talk about the Twitter ban. Friday, isn't it? And that has really saturated news sites and all of that. Quite a lot of things even happening economically. We're almost lost in transition. But of course, that's why we're here, to put some perspectives into all of the economics of this. You know, give me your own optical interpretation of when you had it. You're on Twitter, you're on Twitter too.
Yes, I am.
Yes, because I know we follow each other, you follow the show and all of that. So what's your own optics of the development?
Well,
from an economic perspective.
First of all, it came as a surprise. And I also think the political connotation of Twitter ban and deleting Mr. President's chat or Mr. President's message on Twitter, it's, the political conversation around it is more than the economics consideration. When you look at Twitter with about 30 million Nigerian registered.
No, we're not. That data is wrong. When I looked at it, the US has about 69 million active users on Twitter. We have about 3 million. I've been seeing those numbers even on TV going around since yesterday, and I think
it's subject to verification.
Yes,
I will try and verify that.
I verified. I did my research trial yesterday.
But what I have heard from...
But when you see it on Wiki, like 40 million. But if you go into some other, it's not up
but
to that.
From the report from government agency saying about 30 million Nigerians are there. So I will take that to be true until I will now go on Twitter to check the back end, the total number of Nigerians.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So let us assume we have what has been reported to be on Twitter. What is the implication of this in economy, in FDI, foreign direct investment to Nigeria? How do people see, particularly a developing nation, Nigeria, and access to information and internet and, you know, say social media generally? For a long time, Nigerian government have been doing everything possible to regulate social media. And a lot of persons have said, oh, yeah, it is good, it is bad. People have not taken position. But for me, my concern about this is those who have active jobs on Twitter, including influencers in their numbers, including people who run advert, and advertising is a huge, big industry. You know what Twitter takes as component of advertising after Facebook and Instagram, the same company led by Facebook, the next is Twitter, you know, in terms of advertising. So the monies, which of course were part of our GDP, is gone. Apart from that, jobs is also lost. Potential sales for Twitter is also gone. So what we need to ask ourselves is, when we relate the job losses and the revenue losses and business losses to, we want to control Twitter, which one weighs more, to business community or to the politician? Then we can now decide which one we think they should go for. But for me, it came as a surprise. The last thing I was expecting is Twitter ban. What I was expecting for authorities to do is perhaps to engage Nigeria. And when you look at, if only 3 million Nigerians are on Twitter, which I doubt anyway, if only 3 million Nigerians are on Twitter, I'll tell you this, information circulate among virtually all the social media platforms.
Yes.
But the platform that gives you coincide information about what is going on, it's as good as after your prayers in the morning, you scroll down your Twitter, you see what is trending, you are informed. Then you see media houses, that's traditional media houses, telling us.
We're on Twitter. With Twitter, I used to disseminate my news because it's not all the time that people are watching TV.
Yes.
So while you're on the go, you can also watch on Twitter.
What
AIT is even live on Twitter.
What I've said is that AIT live on Twitter, AIT live or so on
official
Twitter.
AIT live.
You see virtually all the TV stations in Nigeria,
not
just Nigeria, even international TV station. Everyone is on Twitter. The information, you know, you don't need to write plenty story.
280 characters.
You drop the character, people understand what you are saying. If you need to extend, you go to the next page, you add to it. But it's unlike other platforms, which I don't want to mention, that you need to write and you have lost people in the process. So I am concerned about the economic consideration of Twitter ban, which I think authorities will need to consider if it's worth it or not.
Okay. I know there would still be discrepancies concerning this data. And for the past few days, I've been getting this data, 40 million, so million. We know we have over 100 million internet subscribers in Nigeria. And from what I'm even seeing, I'm trying to get out that data again. The United States, audience in millions on Twitter, 69.3 million. Know that the United States has over 200 million people. Japan is next, 50.9 million. India, 17.5 million on Twitter. But now let me go down. We see Argentina 5 million, South Korea 5.1, Egypt about 3.7, Malaysia is about 3.3. That's why I said Nigeria is about 3 million people on Twitter.
Data? What's the data
now,
source?
The data
And
source is
which year?
2021, January
Okay.
2021.
Fantastic.
Do you understand? So
Fantastic.
I don't know. I just needed to, because so many
Conflicting
figures and
here and there.
this is a facts show. So
I know.
you know, so we've got to, but I needed to bring in that. But of course, when you go, some people may go on Wikipedia, so they say something else. But this is January 2021. All right. Is the ban, okay, no, let me look at the government side now, which is the government has said that Twitter in Nigeria, in fact, the Minister of Information said at the time, was it last week too, that Twitter's operation or so in Nigeria is suspect. So I think I heard him say that, you know. Now, what the federal government said for banning Twitter is for undermining Nigeria's corporate existence, our unity, corporate existence, our cohesion. Do you think, how much weight does that carry? Because they will say, if there's no Nigeria, you can't do business in the first place.
I agree. I think what government have cited is the role of Twitter during NSAS protest. And government have also said that one of the agitators, separationists, Twitter has not reported, Twitter has not deleted any of the messages. But I have read Twitter community rules, and I saw what Nigerians did on Wednesday or Thursday, where many Nigerians reported the message tweeted by Mr. President that it should be taken down, it should be taken down. Twitter has the rule for such reports that when the report persists, it will take down such message. And I think what authority needs to do is, if you cannot beat them, you join them. Instead of you to outrightly ban Twitter, you know that is where your quote and unquote vocal youth are. And that's the way they can get to government. Why don't you have your own people on Twitter to engage people? So the narrative people don't know, because if nobody is talking to them from government, and these people don't want to watch government-owned television station, for instance, and government don't own any major social media platform. So the one that is available, it is better for government to get home people to engage people and share the true story. So, but if you say nobody should go there, I hear people are still on Twitter. And it is what they hear on Twitter, they will share. And people will believe them. Is it somebody that use pseudo name on Twitter and maybe even don't use Nigeria address to register it? But if you are present, that is when you will know what is even on the mind of people. Because some people, some of the things people are agitating for are true. Some may not be correct. But if you are there to answer them, look at how many of us got information about NCDC during COVID. NCDC, even after the ban was announced, still tweeted to say Nigeria 40-something cases. And I laughed.
NCDC got more popular because of Twitter.
Because of Twitter.
Now, so, there's no Twitter, so where will they be? Okay, NCDC, they will be giving us press release every day.
So who does that this time and age? You know, so I think Nigeria has gone too much into Twitter. You know, we have gone really deep into Twitter, and government need to participate in all of this. So if Twitter have said because of the word war, Holocaust, and all of those things were used, what I would have expected if I were the president or the handler of his Twitter handle would be to send another tweet to say, this is not the intention. We are dealing with a peculiar situation in Nigeria. The intention is not to go back to civil war, it's not to attack, it's not to fight, but to protect lives and property, which should be the goal of Twitter. So the engagement pattern is what I think is missing.
Okay, let's talk about, you raised the issue of demography. And when I studied this Twitter demographic, I found out that 50% of people on Twitter globally, 50% of people on Twitter are between the ages of 18 to 34. So when I got that information, what came to my mind, I said, 18 to 34 are on Twitter globally. If you take a look at it, 50.9% globally. 18 to 24 have about 21.6%, while 25 to 34, that's the age range, has about 28.9% globally. So if you take a look at 18 to 34 years old, that makes up more than that's our demography.
So, Twitter reflects Nigeria's demography exactly.
Thank you. That's where I'm actually going
Twitter and Nigeria, it shows. Why will you not spend 24 hours on Twitter? Why will I not? You are engaged. You have other things you are doing. You have businesses. You go to Twitter, maybe you send maximum 5 tweets a day. But check some people's timeline, they could say 40 tweets a day. When you check the person's age, is within that age bracket.
Yes. When I found out, I was like, really?
We are talking of 33.3 unemployment figures.
Rate.
People
yes,
they need to vent their frustration on something. They could go on Twitter and be saying, we are hungry, we are this, we are that. It's better than them burning houses. It's better. Let us engage them before they let loose from that point. So government also knows what many youth are planning when they go on Twitter and they start tweeting, saying this is the intention, let's mobilize, let's do this. Why we don't need to shoot them or kill them, we need to engage them from the same platform. I'm even of the opinion that government may even sponsor campaign on Twitter. Not political campaign, but some of the development you are doing because people don't know. You are putting it in newspaper, it's fine. But let us do an analysis of the age range of people that read newspaper. A lot of people read newspaper, by the way. But I'm saying, who read newspaper more?
Not within that range.
Not so much.
Not within that, or they read it online.
They read it online.
Yeah.
So you need to put your advert on newspaper, provided that it will be there online. Because these guys, they've covenanted with their phones from morning till evening.
Now, let's take a look at the flip side, which is the data. Because, you know, I had to sit down and just look at this, churn it well, away from the shenanigans or the politics of it, really. You take a look at the GDP numbers that just came out. ICT contributed more to the GDP, though it fell less than 10%, about 9.9%. And why it also fell was because of government's policy on the NIN and SIM card.
Yes.
It grew more than 10.3% in 2020. Where am I going to? With this now Twitter ban, I'm aware that people are also on Twitter now using the VPN or what, you know. But do you see a decrease, a decline in data usage? Because not everybody also may go on that VPN, for example. So how do you think it would affect telecommunication companies? That's one. The B part of the question also is brands and consumers' relationship, which I have seen it over the years evolve. For brands, even such as banks, the financial system, they use Twitter to get customers. They use Twitter to manage consumer relationships.
Even bank wars.
Yes, I could have a frustration with a bank. I've done it a few times. Just tweet the name of the bank. They'll start chasing me, the bank, oh, please, Nancy, or we'll respond to you in the DM. Unlike you going to a fiscal space or a fiscal bank. So
I tell you something that happened to me in Lagos. Is he Ikeja Electric?
Ikeja Disco.
Ikeja Disco. My meter just stopped working. For 3 months, I had no light. I went to Ikeja Electric, called the numbers. Don't worry, we will come, we will come. The moment I tweeted it, the next thing I saw in less than 30 minutes is that organization sent me a DM to say, Mr. Laje, don't worry, we will fix it. 2 days after, somebody showed up in my apartment to say, we are going to fix it. So I now sent another tweet that now they are working on it. I did not see them for 1 week. Then I went back and said, they lied to me. They sent me a DM and they fixed it that day, which means it's effective. This is my personal experience.
You know what? Just to buttress this, Paul, you are hitting the nerves. And you are hitting the nerves where the facts are portraying it. Twitter also said consumer and brand relationship, that 60% of consumers and brand feedback happened within 1 hour, 24 minutes.
Yeah.
So yours happened in 30 minutes.
In less than 30 minutes.
So these are the kind of facts that I think that our authorities should be able to be looking at and say, okay, we are not saying, are we saying that the unity or cohesion, okay, if we're saying this is bad at where we are right now, for where we are right now, because the insecurity, everyone is showing public frustration. But what other things? That is like a balance, isn't it?
What
How do
I'm
we balance
expecting, imagine if Nigerian military defense headquarters sent series of tweets on daily basis, somebody at their desk office, and the Nigerian police, because when you hear Nigerian police, something else comes to people's mind. But police is still functioning to some level. Imagine if police is running a maximum campaign on Twitter for what they are doing. Yes, we acknowledge they have a number of things they are not doing, but it does not mean they are not working at all. The same with the military.
So they magnify the things they do on Twitter.
Exactly.
Or another social media
so that
platforms.
we can see what they are doing. They can promote what they are doing. Because it is when you see, they said perception is stronger than reality. The perception is that they are keeping quiet. We don't even know. It's what we hear in the news. How many times do we listen to news? But most of the time, young people go on Twitter, they go on Facebook, they go on all those social media platforms just to see. They say, oh, this is what they said we are doing. Most people heard that there was a dispute between the two, I think, Boko Haram and the Islamic State for West Africa. How did we hear about that? Before I saw it on TV in the evening, I already saw what happened on several social media platforms. So that gives confidence and concern that, okay, maybe we are not going to be dealing with Boko Haram, but how terrible are these new guys?
Okay, what kind of middle ground? Because now the government said, of course, like a temporary suspension. I don't know. What do you think is the way forward? Do you think that the government will win this war? Considering that other countries such as China, Iran, Turkey at the time, which other country? North Korea, definitely. You know, there are some other countries, I think 33 countries in the last few months have either restricted one social network or the other temporarily or so. How do you think that this balancing act should be? Will government win this? Will government really win this war?
Well, I think the Nigerian
and
government...
they did say that they are going to prosecute violators. How will you know the violators if you yourself is not on that Twitter trying to get someone that is tweeting? I don't know. I tried to interpret that.
I saw something today on someone's WhatsApp status that said government should prosecute the top Christian authority in Nigeria, quote and unquote, because he used Twitter to tell his people today is Sunday, this is what we are doing for June and all of those. The man is just innocent, doing his job on Twitter. And there are a lot more people on Twitter that are either doing their business, sending information, TV station letting people know, newspaper agencies that have nothing political they are doing. For me, I think government will have a review, and I think that review will happen soon. Twitter sent two messages. First, to say they don't know that maybe the president is from Nigeria or not. They just feel that violated their policy, and that was why they took it down. And they have also sent another tweet to Nigerians to say they will do everything possible to resolve it. Whether they are going to resolve with Nigerian government, which I think is important on both parties to resolve, or they are going to create another platform for Nigerians that want to access their brand. The question is, what if we have another social media that is exactly like Twitter? Are we going to ban that too? What if another social media platform? What if
government has also said, let Nigerians use their ingenuity and create our own Twitter-like company.
Where is the light? Where is the infrastructure?
Turkey just headquartered in
Let me
Ghana
ask you, have you tried to use your data and the data did not go through, and you know there is no network? You can't do that. So we have basic infrastructural challenges. And we don't have to create it. We don't have to create it. If we have the infrastructure in place, the truth is that Nigeria has more talented people than the people that made some of these things. Talented, committed. Some of them don't even need finance, but they need the environment. And how would you know? Go to ease of doing business. Okay. Check countries where this thing came from. Are they rated? Many of them among top 30. How is Nigeria rated and ranked? You know? So if we can do these things by ourselves, yes, we would have done it. Young people in Nigeria would have done it. Even older people that are technology savvy would have done it. But the concern is we don't have the infrastructure to do it. And this will come from the part of government. Again, foreign investment. My concern regarding this and foreign investment is 50-50 though. Nigeria's foreign investments has reduced until recently. That the National Bureau of Statistics shows, and I'm expecting 2021 when you relate it to 2020, because 2020 was a bad year in terms of economy. So 2021, any minute increase will reflect, it will look big. But when you now look at it in relation to America, and technically America is already speaking to say, well, this is in your constitution, people should be free. If Nigeria persists, we don't know what America may do. Sanctions may come to Nigeria. And when you look at what Nigeria imports from America, according to National Bureau of Statistics fourth quarter report, it's one of the major partners we import from. So what is my own opinion? This may affect in the medium term the foreign direct investment into Nigeria. I don't pray so, but it may. So, but that does not also mean that any social media platform should take Nigerian for granted. That is important. So let's assume we have a situation where a social media platform is outrightly abusing Nigeria. I will not support it. I also don't support people that are spreading war
and
fake news on social media. I think it is wrong. I think government in this case should partner with owners of these social media platform globally, so that when they report, we had something like that at a time when Boko Haram was going to different cities to bomb with Google. So Google will take down the video. Government can do the same thing. Once it is globally accepted that this act is wrong, and government can prove a point, and even ask some of the people who believe in it to report, it will be taken down. And I think in all things, beyond the owners being civil, Nigeria being civil, our government, our authority also needs to be very civil.
Okay, just as we wrap up, Twitter's revenue for 2020, $3.7 billion. That was their revenue. And when I translated that to Naira, I got about 1.5 trillion Naira. So, you know.
That's 21 states IGR. No, 24 states
in
IGR
Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
That is like almost like a third of, will I say our fiscal deficit? I'm just putting a third of how much we'll borrow. Yeah, that's just one company. Where I'm going to is that the high time will also begin to encourage or enable our own business environment. We can also build big businesses. The other thing also is Facebook, for example. More Nigerians are on Facebook even than on Twitter.
Yes.
More Nigerians even on WhatsApp,
yes,
which is also owned by Facebook, I guess.
WhatsApp, Instagram.
So what will happen? Will government also start banning all those? But that's a food for thought. Thank you very much for coming, Paul, on the show. Let's see what happens in the next few days or weeks. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for having me.
All right, the next interview, Professor Kenife will be joining me here. We'll be looking at Godwin Emefiele's 7 year in office. The news about Twitter tried to overshadow that. But trust us on the show, it can't go like that. We'll talk about it after the break. Let's see what happens. Do join us again.